Hi everyone, thanks for joining us tonight. And we have a very inspiring story. I have with me Jeni Winkles. Say hi, Jeni.
Hello.
I
feel like I'm on Oprah.
Well, maybe one day we'll be on, TV. We're hoping. We're living for that. So, I said in my teaser this week that you have lived through 2 transplants, and as recent as 3 weeks ago, you were given the all clear with cancer. So we need to have that journey to this day where you are clear with cancer, which is a fantastic thing, and we've celebrated this evening.
Okay.
So let's start the journey on how it happened. Now, you were 10 and you had diabetes.
That's right.
And did that give you some problem? Was that where problems started?
That's right. I was what they call an unstable diabetic, and no matter what I did or what the doctors did, they could never ever stabilise the blood sugars, and long-term effect of unstable blood sugars causes lots of complications. So most of my childhood and really up until my 20s, I was in and out of hospitals. And eventually I met an endocrinologist in Sydney, and he said, look, there's only one thing that I could perhaps suggest, and it's a relatively new operation. It was a pancreas and kidney transplant, and in having that would cure me from diabetes and further complications.
So that's pancreas
and kidney.
And kidney.
Yeah, that's right.
Together.
Yeah.
Wow. Is
from the same donor.
person?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, that's just so fascinating to me that pancreas, for one, like you just don't. Well, I don't hear of it that often. Is that a something that's rare? Is that something that they do?
Look, even a lot of GPs now, they'll say to me, I don't think you've had a pancreas kidney. I think you may mean a liver or something. So there's not a lot of knowledge about it, even though Westmead Hospital have been doing this operation for over 20 years. So anyway, I had to have lots and lots of very invasive tests to see if they'd actually put me on the list, because it's very expensive for the Australian taxpayers. And I was accepted, and then I had to wait about 18 months.
So how old were you when this happened?
I was 33 when I got the call to say that was about midnight, to say that there were organs waiting for me. And it was one side of me I was quite excited about, thinking, yay, I'm going to be well. The other side was that somebody had died, and while I'm happy, my family and friends are happy for me, someone else is grieving, and that was a little bit hard too.
I guess that is a hard thing to take for anyone, because that is the way that has to happen. There is no other way. So in that situation, so it was then how long after that before you actually had the transplant that you were told? Was that an immediate thing?
Yeah. What happened, it was about midnight, and I was actually living with my parents because I was so sick. I'd probably throw up about, and I'm not joking, about 18 times a day. And I was, because of the diabetes being so unstable, I was in and out of comas. Like in Sydney, all the ambulance men knew me, and because they'd find me on buses. And anyway, so we got the call at midnight, and then had to go straight down to Westmead. And then as we checked in, they were all very casual and said, oh, okay, just go upstairs. And they gave me some medication and said it'll happen probably first thing tomorrow morning. So they had to wait till the organs had come in from, they actually came in from Lismore. And then it was I think about a 12-hour operation.
And were you single at that time? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, I was, yeah.
So you're with mum and dad and single? And
I was actually living in Sydney, but as I'd said, I became so unwell while I was waiting for the transplant, I moved up to Mum and Dad's probably for about 4 months until that call. And then the operation took place. And
wow. And that was a success.
It was, but 2 days after the transplant, I was really well. I mean, I looked like a medical marionette because I had 22 lines coming in and out of everywhere.
Wow.
But I woke up and looked across the room and I saw the guy in the bed opposite with all blood all over him, and I knew that I'd had a major hemorrhage in my eye. So
in your eye.
So they'd fixed that.
So is that because of the operation that you had?
The having had diabetes, and because it damages so much of your body, and then long-term diabetes, uncontrolled, causes blood pressure problems and everything else, kidney problems, and
so you lost the sight in that eye?
Yep.
Wow, that's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, I was all right though.
Yeah, because you've got a good positive attitude. That's what I love about you, Jeni.
Oh, but I think from basically having my head down a toilet constantly to from the day I woke up from the operation, I never vomited. So that for me was everything. The eyesight thing, I thought, oh, you know, I'm still alive.
And you've got the hairstyle for it anyway. It's the perfect hairstyle, isn't it?
Actually, I had really long hair at the time, but it always fell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was lucky. And then there's lots of little things that sort of go wrong while they're adjusting your medications and everything. So I had about 3 months at Westmead while they were sorting me out. And that's quite normal. Well, it was back then. That's 21 years ago. And then I had just such a strong desire to be able to say thank you to my donor family. And because of the Human Tissue Act, you're not really meant to know anything about them. You can, via the Red Cross, write a card. It's very cold. Dear donor family, love the recipient.
I've heard this before.
Yeah.
But you wanted to go that little extra mile, did you not? And meet someone that's given you such a wonderful life. Okay. And what they've actually done without, like they've lost someone in their family.
That's right.
So you pursued that because that's what you wanted to do. And how did that happen?
Well, because I had such a quest, I was actually asked by a few different organisations to talk about my transplant. And at the end of one of the talks, a man came up to me and he said he'd sort of got a bit of a maverick organisation where he felt he could match the donor families and recipients with the information he had. And I'm not quite sure how he did it, but anyway.
Successful.
So, yeah, well, he got to know me and he sent out forms to the different recipients and donor families, and we found a match. But what had happened prior to that, I was asked to do the Sydney Harbour Bridge climb, and because of the transplant and everything, and I signed my name in a book, and one of my cards to my donor mum, it just said, I'm going really well, recently climbed the Harbour Bridge, but I actually signed my name, and because I spell it Jeni, it's a little different. Red Cross had put white out all over it, but she actually got a pin and scratched it off.
Oh, wow.
So she knew my name was Jeni.
Oh, wow.
Right, so when she got the phone call saying, I found the match, it was the eve of her daughter's wedding. So I was given her number. I called her and she said, I can't show any excitement because it'll take it away from the daughter. In the meantime, 60 Minutes had heard, because we were the first people to have met, and they wanted to do the story of us meeting.
So it's never happened before. Wow.
And look, I can understand why, because there's certain people that don't look after themselves, and that, you know, the donor families would be devastated if they knew how their son, daughter, mother, father's organs had been.
And I guess too, it could work on another level too, that you know, you could be so emotionally unstable knowing that your child even lives on in someone else's body, that you would be prone to want to know where they are, what they're doing, look at them, watch them, want to be in their life, and it could be
that
you know, a stalking.
That did happen. It did happen in Dubbo. A lady gave her little girl's organs to another child, and she started stalking the family. And,
oh dear, sad, isn't it?
Yeah. So I do understand the human tissue to a degree,
and that's another aspect because you now have 3 DNAs.
I do.
Wow, and is that like? How does that happen?
Well, at that time I had 2, and then later on I needed a replacement kidney because the drugs that we take, the anti-rejection drugs, are so toxic. Long-term use usually knocks the kidneys out, and that's what happened to me.
So you needed another kidney?
I did, yeah.
So what happens with the old one? That's like...
They did take that one out.
Yeah.
So that was after 18 and a half years, which is a long time for a kidney. Like I said, I looked after myself too. But I'll just jump back because after 60 Minutes did the story, I was constantly in touch with my donor's mum. Her name's Sandra, and her son was an 18-year-old boy.
Oh dear.
Now, he had a premonition about his death.
Wow.
And the friends that he was with at the time he was killed, they sort of confirmed that with his mum. Yeah, I know. So,
he knew that was going to happen.
And his father had also been an organ donor. So when he was virtually brain dead in the hospital, the doctor had to ask Sandra. She just said, and I think this is amazing, she said, I know what you're going to ask me, and the answer's yes. You know? So it's amazing.
The whole thing. Oh, the whole thing to me is quite extraordinary. I mean, there's just so many different aspects of the story. It's not just a straight out story that you've had a transplant. It's like it's all the little intricate stories that go on from that.
That's right.
It's like its own little world of stories. So, wow. So, how many operations have you had?
19. That's including my most recent operation.
So, can you name them? Can you tell me what they are?
Roughly, I had quite a few post my first transplant because I had an infection and it was the organs were infected like beneath the...
And this is the one that you've just got the all clear for, yes?
No.
Oh.
That was thyroid cancer, which happened this year.
You've had your thyroid removed?
I have, yeah.
Because you had... Oh, it's beautiful, especially those pills on there. Yeah. So you've had your thyroid removed because you had thyroid cancer. You've had breast cancer. I'm just amazed that you've got that smile on your face. Like, you're just so positive. And, you know, to me, Jeni is such an inspiration to any person out there. You know, like, you're all hearing it here first, you know, about Jeni. But I've sat with Jeni and had coffee, and I've learned a lot about her, and I can tell you now that she really is an amazing, inspirational, strong, positive, and beautiful soul. And if someone's out there and they get a little bit of this fabulous stuff from Jeni tonight, then, you know, what I'm doing here has been a success for someone out there. And that's why I want to share these beautiful stories about beautiful people like you, Jeni. So what I found fascinating after having coffee with you one day, you were telling me about the situation with the pairing.
Okay.
So there'd be a lot of people out there that wouldn't even know.
Most people have never heard of this pairing program.
It's fascinating.
It really is. Well, when the kidney failed after the 18 and a half years, my brother, he went and had all the tests to see if he could be a donor because he was quite a good match. But interestingly enough, they found an aneurysm in his spleen. And they said, you've got to go and buy a lottery ticket because that's virtually saved your life. But with the transplant team, they don't want to make well people sick.
Yes.
They want to make sick people well, obviously. So they knocked him back because they thought
But he
could
found
hear
out
us.
that he had an aneurysm. So through you doing that,
That's
his
right.
life was saved.
Absolutely.
Because he would never have gone, he would never have known, would he?
No.
That would have just happened.
It just
So,
happened, that's right.
wow.
Then Oliver he's O negative. I think
This
I
is your
said,
husband,
yeah.
right, Oliver?
And they didn't want to use him for me because it would mean that I'd have to go on massive doses of the anti-rejection drugs, which again would knock the kidney out. So they said no to him, but they had this pairing program, which meant, and this is exactly what happened, Oliver could donate his healthy kidney to someone in Australia that was in the same situation. Say it was you and Vince needed the kidney, but you could donate to someone else. So at exactly the same time, like all the surgeons and the you don't really know much about that person's prior health. You just got to hope that they don't have other long-term illnesses in their family. So that was very successful, and so Oliver was up that night after his operation and asked me for steak. And then I was up and out after about, I think, 3 days. And
Really? Wow. I mean,
for being so unwell. Well, you saw me when I used to come into the shop, and I was so frail. And
I know.
so,
And you today, like, I know, because I've spoken to you many times, but I know how important it is for you to eat well and to look after yourself.
absolutely.
And because, I mean, you've been given a gift more than once, have you not?
Absolutely.
So, you grow all your own vegetables?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't. I'm not the gardener.
No, well,
Yeah,
Oliver does.
Yeah.
Well, that's
right.
what people are good at. That's what they've got to do.
That's right.
And so you eat very, very healthily. And you feel that to you has helped so much. And I think too that's because I too know a chronic diabetic who has a wife that's a great cook, and she cooks all these marvellous cakes, and he will just go crazy on them.
No good.
I know, and I try to convince him it's so important, like, because you could get to that next level, and he's only a young man, and
Right. It's a silent killer.
Yes.
Everything is affected from your high blood sugars, all your blood vessels, hence eye problems, kidney problems, in some people heart. A lot of them lose their feet.
yeah, it's just connected. Everything's connected.
Absolutely.
So, eat healthily. If you've got any sort of condition, like, be mindful of what you're putting in your body, and go that extra mile and eat well, because it's so important. I mean, we only get one body.
I always think
But
that too.
okay, we only get one body,
We
which
only
is
get
the
one.
vessel.
Nothing, yeah.
The vessel, but we can put all these other things in to help us and buy us time.
That's right.
But it's really, really important to be healthy and to look after this one particular vessel, because this is all we have. And if you want a beautiful long life to spend with your family and your loved ones, take the time to do something wonderful and look after this body. I think that's certain, like, a really important message of mine to give everyone today. So 3 weeks ago you were given the all clear, and that was so damn exciting.
It was.
Because
Champagne was
because I mean, well, even though we're talking about healthy lifestyles and looking after ourselves, like, I mean, you don't go overboard, but you still celebrate. You still have a glass of wine.
Absolutely.
Because
if I feel like, some chocolate, I'll still have it, but that's just the odd time. It's not every day is what really counts.
Yes.
What you put in.
So you still, go off the rails a little bit.
You've got to have a life as well.
Well, you've got to have a bit of fun there without being too ridiculous. But, we've talked about looking after your body and whatever. So it is your 10th wedding anniversary next year.
That's right.
Which is fantastic.
Absolutely.
And to celebrate, I believe you are going to Africa.
You are correct.
Oh, and for how long?
About 4.5 weeks.
So what sort of, I mean, all I can think of is going to Africa and you would have special needs. How do you deal with those special needs knowing that you're going overseas? Do you plan for that with travel agents and things like that?
No, the insurance companies won't touch me. But I still can be insured for luggage and all the other bits and pieces, and you just have to be careful.
And I guess if you've got, such a loving husband as you had with Oliver, and he's so attentive, isn't he? He's just a really beautiful soul, and I think that makes life so much easier too when you've got someone that's just so adores you and wants you so badly in their life that they will do these gorgeous things for you to keep you here with them. Because even just
everything he did, all my dialysis and everything, because of my poor vision, the connections have to be totally sterile. But if I put the 2 tips of the dialysis tubes together and missed, then the whole thing's infected and then potentially could die. So he learned how to do it all. And,
which is like...
And it's not easy. It's not.
No, I mean...
And I do admire people that do their own.
Oh, we interviewed a lady that's been on dialysis for 30 years and just, learning about her, Jo Reese, learning about her beautiful husband and what... He had to learn all that too, and it is. It's life-threatening stuff if you don't do it right.
And it's daunting, and things go wrong, and it can be excruciatingly painful. And
you don't have to go there.
Standing.
Yeah, you don't have to go there anymore, do you? You're just look at her. She's just a picture of health, just beautiful, happy, positive, amazing, inspirational woman. That everyone should take a leaf out of Jeni's book for sure. And I guess tonight, I think my message to everyone tonight is that we have these wonderful bodies, and I know I've said it previously in the show, but we have these wonderful bodies, and it's really important to look after them because they are who we are. They are all we've got. And, we can have organ transplants and they can be successful, but, they can certainly be not successful too. So, there's times when you're just going to put your body through a whole lot of other stuff that is totally unnecessary. So, why not delay that situation by looking after your body and being healthy? And, it's all about a healthy mind and soul as well. And that's so important too, to have a healthy mind and have wonderful support and, surround yourself with beautiful people that are going to add to your day and not take away from your day. I think that's really important too. To
have some fun.
And have some fun, have some fun, like within reason, of course, but, fun is fun, and it is about being happy and releasing those beautiful happy hormones that we have. And, and I think, each and every week I ask the people that I interview to take the opportunity to leave my viewers with an inspiring message or a message of love. So I'm asking you, Jeni, here's your opportunity to look down the camera and, give my viewers something to think about. Like, what is your message?
Okay. Well, I think it's very important to have a goal because it gives you a focus, and the days where, for example, if you're not well, you've got that goal to look forward to. And I think I really should work for Nike because I've adopted their motto, just do it. I think that's just the best saying. Don't think, maybe tomorrow or whatever, just do it.
Yeah, and if you're feeling unwell or you've got those underlying medical problems, but you have the energy to do something quite fantastic, just go and do it. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Don't let it hold you back.
No.
I mean, if you're unwell and you're incapable of doing, that's a different story. But if you're unwell and you have opportunity, take the opportunity and just do it, as we're saying.
Absolutely.
And, I'd like to thank everyone tonight for tuning in and and hi Brandon Harvey, and hi Lisa Hutchison, all the way from Kalgoorlie. Good on you. It's really important that, that I say thank you, because if it wasn't for you out there in that wonderful world of mine, in Facebook world and YouTube world and the worldwide wonderful World Wide Web, or whatever you say, it is about you supporting me every single week, and I thank you for that. I can't thank you enough, because without you, this show wouldn't be as successful as it is. So I thank you for that. And if you need to share it with anybody, you can share on the Facebook, you can share on YouTube. So it's just On the Couch with Kelly on YouTube, On the Couch with Kelly on Facebook. And if you go to my website, you can have a little read about me and some things that are happening at the moment. So onthecouchwithkelly.com. So join me on either of those, and join me again next week, 7:30 on a Wednesday night. We're live. And you know what? My little line here is, no matter what, you are going to be okay. Just don't quit and know that you'll be okay. And I thank you all for joining me tonight. Thanks, Jeni.
Pleasure.
Bye now. Hello, everyone. I just wanted to, I'm interviewing again Jeni Winkles, because we had a few little problems with the internet connection last week. So just to update a few little things that we missed out on. One of them was kidney pairing, and we didn't get the opportunity to explain about that. So I'll go back to the first little interruption we had, and we were talking about how you'd been in hospital and the operations that you had, and I'd mentioned that you'd had 19, and then it kind of cut out. Okay. So I think we'll recap a little bit on that and just say, perhaps give us a little bit of a background on, what were those 19? Well, close to 19, or however many you can count.
Well, mostly on my kidney and pancreas and liver and eyes, and just continually all of those organs. And then the last operation, as you know about, was my thyroid, because I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and they had to remove the whole thyroid and 50 lymph nodes.
Wow.
And then...
That's pretty massive, isn't it?
50, yeah. And then I got the all clear, as you know.
Yeah, and that's the big we celebrate, the fact that you got the all clear.
Yeah.
So, okay, just to fill that little gap in, was all the operations that you've had. So you've had the transplant. So you've had the pancreas and the kidney. And then you've lost the eyesight in your left eye. And then you had the thyroid cancer, which now all clear. So we're celebrating that. So the other little gap that we had there was, we were talking about kidney sharing. Okay. So it's not, I know it's not that, but remember, I'm the one asking the questions that I really want to know, and my viewers want to know.
Sure.
So what is it actually called?
It's called the Australian Kidney Pairing Exchange Program.
Wow, that was pretty cool.
Yay, I had to practice that.
And I didn't have to say it.
And what it is, it's basically for people that, say there's a husband or a wife, and the wife, in my case, needed a replacement kidney, but my husband Oliver wasn't able to donate to me. So what this program is there's another couple, it could be a mum and daughter or father and son, in another hospital or in another state, and at the same time they've also got to be tested, and they're willing to, one of them's willing to donate a healthy kidney, hopefully to me, and then Oliver's kidney would go to hopefully their spouse or friend, or... But in our case there were 6 couples, so there was 12 people being worked on at exactly the same time.
So does that mean...
All around Australia.
So, okay, so there's 6 couples. So there's 6 people that need a transplant.
That's right.
So 6 recipients.
6 recipients.
And 6 people willing to give their kidney.
Yeah.
And they all have to be ready at exactly the same time.
That's correct.
So every surgical team and everything all have to be ready to go at exactly the same time. So how it worked in your way is that you were here with your husband. Your husband's given his kidney and that's transported to one of the other recipients.
That's right, yep.
You were in need of a kidney, so one of those 12 couples actually gave you one of their kidneys. So in other words,
exactly.
it's a logistical
I
nightmare.
know. Just, you cannot imagine how difficult that would be. Like from the clerical staff right through to the surgeons and all the transportation of the kidneys and making sure that the recipients or the donors were not unwell on the day of the operation.
So they test everyone, so everyone goes into hospital.
Yeah.
You're all in hospital waiting, everything's happening, so that it's every single person tested that particular time. So it could be a failure, couldn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
The other strange thing is, because I've already, as you know, had the first pancreas kidney transplant and that kidney failed, so my antibodies are quite bizarre, and then having the 3 different DNAs. So with this exchange program, it is quite difficult to get a match for someone in a situation like myself with a pre-existing organ that's still working.
Yes.
So I don't know how they do it, but there is actually, it's like a database register. So if someone is willing to be a donor for a friend or family or whoever, once they're being tested, they go onto this register and then they just keep checking every 3 months till they get the right matches. So,
Wow, I mean 12 couples, wow, that's incredible.
It is.
So I mean, from this I get, one is, everyone out there, if you're always thought about or considering being an organ donor, do something about it. Don't think about it. To actually do something about it.
You've got to discuss it with your family.
Yeah, that's very important,
really have
isn't
to.
it? Because they've got to know what's going to happen should there be some incident.
Well, that's right. But even if you're considering being a live donor for someone, like in our situation, you might have a friend that needs a kidney and you think that it's only their family that could donate, but in fact it might be you, that you can be a living donor. So that's why this program's been fantastic, because it's given the opportunity for more people that are on dialysis to get a kidney quicker than the normal waiting time, which can be up to 8 years.
Wow, I mean sometimes that's just too long, isn't it? They don't live that long.
That's right.
Unfortunately.
Right.
So that's the explanation on the program, and I think now's the time for me to take the time to say thank you, an everlasting thank you to the wonderful teams of, the logistics behind that situation are just mind-boggling. So, if there's anyone out there that works in this industry somewhere or works in a hospital that knows of this program, can you please just pass on this thank you? It's a heartfelt thank you from me and Jeni to say, thank you to all the teams, everyone. It's like you say, the clerical staff, the surgeons, the transport people,
the families.
The families, yes, to be able to give up that situation, and the people that are actually donating their organs, to help others. Thank you, and thank you. So, if you're out there and you know of someone working in that industry, please pass this thank you on, because it is a genuine thank you. And like we said, for those that are looking at becoming an organ donor, please, discuss it with your family and do something about it. Make it real. And, hopefully you too will be responsible to, change someone's life, or give them life, should I say. So,
in my personal case, 7 people were given the gift of life from my original donor.
So 7 people, there you go. It was a 26-year-old young man, was he not? Yeah?
18.
An 18-year-old young man who passed and gave 7 people life.
It's amazing.
It is. Well, we honour him. We really do honour him. Whether he be around in spirit and having a look at what's going on and knowing today that there are, you know, just such a successful, beautiful people alive because of what he has done. And thank you to his mates and everyone who ever discussed it with him and helped him make that decision. Thank you to his mum. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, Sandra.
Yeah, thank you, Sandra, and his beautiful family. So that's it for me now until 7:30 tonight. So watching us live 7:30 tonight. I'm talking to a young woman that's was homeless and is now actually living in a refuge. So we're going to talk to her about, you know, life living in a refuge with children, and a few little ideas about how everyone can help in that situation should you have the opportunity to do so. So we'll see you at 7:30 tonight. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.